Rae, it's such a pleasure to have you here and welcome back. It's been several years.
I'm glad to be here with you today.
Well, you do a lot of classes all across the country, both video and in person, and jacket seems to be one of the most popular classes. Is that because it's hard to fit or it's hard for us to pick the right fabrics?
I think it's so much a part of women's modern wardrobe is the jacket. And so we want to have interesting jackets. We don't want to look like everyone else walking around, and yet we still don't want to look so unusual that we don't fit in.
So, well, and fit, that's the name of your patterns. Fit,
right.
Fit
our pattern
for
company
art
is
patterns.
Fit for Art Patterns, and all our patterns have a lot of options for fitting the garments so that the pattern works just for your body, and we recommend you make some samples, and it's all in the direction book. And
it is important to take your time, read through the instructions completely first, don't you think?
We've written a lot of great instructions for you, and our website includes a lot of information also.
Well, we can certainly look to that for reminders of things. And you have these little tips that are especially helpful.
We have this tips booklet, and we have this particular one about quilted jackets. And today we're going to look at some quilted jackets and how easy they are to make once you've established your pattern for yourself that fits, and how comfortable and just pleasurable they are. And we have so many quilters right now who haven't really embraced jacket making, and I think it's such a great extension of their sewing skills and their talents to be able to
vice versa
transfer it to a jacket. That's right.
That's a good
point.
Point.
And I started quilting making jackets, so
I see.
It kind of works both directions.
Both ways.
Yes, yes.
Well, this is one example of a quilted jacket. It's reversible too.
This is a reversible quilted jacket, so I wouldn't suggest you start with this kind of project because this one's pretty complicated. But you can see what a beautiful and easy to make jacket it is. And our pattern has this square armhole that's pretty simple to insert and gives you a pretty good fit pretty quickly. So
fronts and backs are just
both
beautiful.
And you can see how compact and pleasant this would be to wear. It's not too stiff. Sometimes a quilted jacket can get stiff, but if you choose the right materials, you can end up with this really beautiful, supple garment that feels great on, travels well. All of these were shoved in a box, and they came out looking terrific when we got them out to film with them today.
Well, and you talked about the importance of choosing the fabrics, and that's in quilting. That's what we always talk about.
That's right.
Choosing fabrics.
That's right. And we do have some of that in the book and in our web and on the blog. But we're going to, when we're working with getting our pattern straight, you will choose fabrics, and we recommend that you make an unlined, unquilted garment first, just to test that fit and make sure that your pattern is terrific. And I have one here that you can look at that's just an unlined quilted jacket made with quilting cottons, very simple, but it gives you the opportunity to wear it around and make sure it feels good on your body.
Not too tight through the
before you go through all the trouble of making a quilted jacket. Not trouble, but time. It's a very timely project.
And you don't want to waste fabric either.
It's very discouraging if you get it made and it doesn't fit you.
You bet.
So once you've got that pattern that fits you, you can make a gridded pattern set of pattern pieces, which is terrific to work from with a quilted jacket. And quilters are very familiar with this gridded Pellon product.
1 inch.
And what I want you to see is this is the back pattern piece, a full piece, and how easy it is to use that. And you can't see this with it's on it, but to establish a beautiful design centered or asymmetrically on the back, so you have a really interesting garment. And these whole cloth quilted garments are so easy to make because this is no piecing. It's very intricate and interesting, but it's just a piece of fabric that's quilted to the batting, and it's and you can see I've used some different color threads to enhance the print on the front in order for it to become ultimately a jacket.
And you do recommend every piece needs to be quilted before it's pieced together. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the best way. And then if you do need to alter the jacket a little bit, you have that play to do it. It's not all stuck underneath the quilting.
Okay.
So that is so true. Let's look at that piece one more time because I want to talk about gathering materials. We have this really terrific piece that's the back and the front, but you wouldn't want to have that everywhere. You would lose the impact of the design. And so these are the other two pieces that were purchased to go with it. They incorporate the same colors. This is the sleeve and the side panel here, and you can see how that fits into the garment. And then the cuff and the front band, a kimono band jacket, would be in this fabric. So we've got 3 fabrics. 3 fabrics is a great number to work with. It's not too many. You don't get too lost in the shuffle. And you can see we have a calmer fabric here on the sleeves. We don't want to draw a lot of attention to that part of our body for the most part. And the very interesting part in the front and the back.
It certainly is.
So gathering your fabrics and then gathering a piece of batting, and if you are a quilter, you might already have batting at home.
Probably.
But you want to pick a very lightweight batting, a silk or a bamboo blend perhaps, or a very lightweight cotton, so the jacket is not too thick.
Right.
The batting does make a difference. You can also use a flannel if you want. And here are some samples, because you also need to test your thread of some different kinds of batting, and you see I've labeled them here, and
So
the
this
different
one's
kinds
silk.
of lining. So you can see how they feel, and that will help you decide. If, as you're a quilter, you probably already have a stash of batting anyway. So you can make yourself a few samples and pick what you want to use.
And hang on to them, label them.
Hang on
like
to them,
you've
and then
done.
they
That's a
will
good point.
inform you as you move forward with other jackets. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Well, let's take a look at some of these
Yes.
beautiful jackets.
So what I want
you
to
brought.
show you are the different ways that you can finish a quilted jacket. And they get sort of from simple to complex. And all of this is in that Quilted Tips book that we have. So this is a beautiful little, this is made from a roll, the rolls of fabric that you sew together into strips, and then they've been worked different ways.
Oh, you do
But what
incorporate
you
a lot of quilting.
Wanted to see is this has a free hanging lining. So this is how we think of a traditional jacket. It has a lining that's made separately and put in, and the direction book gives you all the information you need to do that lining.
The lining holds a shape so
Exactly.
much better.
And this is so easy. You quilt like this, you just have your batting and your fabric, then you hang your lining. If you're feeling really confident, you can make one where the lining is included in the quilting.
Oh, it was all done at the same time?
It's all done
I
at the
see.
same time, and it makes a really terrific, compact garment. And this is such an interesting jacket because it has traditional quilting shapes on it. The back has some beautiful square and a square designs and these pretty batiks. And another thing I want to show you is this sketch. So this was the person who made this jacket made this sketch to inform her work. This Endless Possibilities is on our website, free download. You can make sketches all you want to plan your jackets before you get started, and that's always smart
a great
too,
idea.
especially if you're doing some intricate piecing. Here is another
a vest.
lining, quilted lining piece, and it is a vest, and it's just this is just the Tabula Rasa jacket without the sleeve.
Oh,
Super easy, and it is a really fun again way to do some piecing and some interesting quilting. This jacket is not quilted with batting, but it's what we call foundation pieced, and this is a quilting technique where you have a base. So you would have your base fabric, and then you would stitch and flip these fabrics over top to get your design. So you can see here that the red Japanese print is the base, and then you can see the lines where these pieces have been stitched and flipped.
It holds it together and
makes
gives
a much
it
more
stable.
lightweight jacket too. So if you
I
live
like
in
that.
a part of the country where it's already warm, you don't want something too heavy.
No,
This is a great alternative to using a lot of batting in your jackets.
I like that. That's the weight I like.
Yes, that's right. So here is another quilted jacket that is reversible. The first one we looked at was also reversible. And you can see here that it is, so it was made as the sandwich. Both sides were created in their each unique way, put together with the batting inside. The jacket was constructed, and then here's the seams. These little polka dotted covered areas where a strip of bias has been used to cover the seam, and then
Which is so decorative you'd never know.
You'd never know. So you can wear it on either side depending on the time of the year. I wear this one at the holidays, and the other one I often wear at Easter time because it's much more springy looking.
These are just beautiful works of art.
They are. They're very fun, and they're just so fun to wear, and people notice, and you feel very special in something you made.
Now this one is lined, but it is very lightweight.
This is lined, and this is another quilting technique that doesn't involve batting, and it is a sashed garment. So the fabrics were put together with this sashing, and then each of these pieces was underlined, and then the garment was put together. So this is another very lightweight, but quilting, using the tools that quilters use, the skills that they have, to make a jacket with very tiny pieces of fabric. So I had these little scraps of all these Japanese pieces, and I wanted to put them together into a beautiful jacket.
We always talk about how you should save, we all save those scraps, but what do you do with them? But now we can see some examples.
Right, absolutely. They're very fun, and sometimes the scrap is actually the beginning of a great jacket.
Well, it looks like it. Yours are all beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today, Rae.